box of puzzles, and they have taken the pieces from this one puzzle and they hid one here, one here, one here. You've got to assemble this box, this box, this box, see what pieces are left over, and then you do the other puzzle. Here's where it gets easy though. Don't try studying the deception. You will spend your whole life studying the deception. It's the truth that is going to free you. The truth is kind of like a garden in a forest of deception. Find that garden, stand there, and you will come to the point where the deception doesn't affect you anymore. They're just people using words. Who are they? Who are you to hire them and empower them over? It all rests on us saying, yes, okay. And you know what I see? When you were a kid, when we were kids, we all had the power to say something very empowering. And we lose it in high school somehow. You're not the boss of me. By the time you're done high school, oh yes, what do you want me to do? When do we lose that? Get to the point where you realize you're not the boss of me. Operate on that and see whether or not they can be the boss of you without your consent. It's common law jurisdiction. How can I be your boss without your consent? How can I hire anyone to be your boss without your consent? How can I create a body of words, call it law, and then apply it to you and use it to extract pretty much half your life's energy if it's not with your consent?
Since Canada is
It's David Icke.
Since Canada is registered as a corporation with the SEC, wouldn't it be better to go to the SEC to claim your shares rather than the Minister of Finance?
No, because the SEC isn't bound by Section 337, whereas the minister is. You could certainly gum up their gears, and they are an organization that I would make aware of the demand. And a good eye on that. I think we'll add that if it's not already there, but I think they're being served already on that demand, so that they know, hey, halt all trading and all everything on this, pending the resolution of this. But the SEC, you can't throw in jail for 13 or 14 years if they refuse to give it.
Also, in the letter that you send them, would it not also be a good idea, because you are a shareholder, to...
You're not a shareholder yet. You're a share owner.
Well, okay, but once you get to that point, to let them know, okay, if there's any votes that need to be done on, for whatever it is that you have to vote for, that they give you notice.
Well, they have to. That's a function of law. Okay. Once you're the shareholder, they have to do that.
And then they would also send you the, what is this, the portfolio for the corporation?
What I'm expecting is my security and a list of all the transactions, everything that from day one of its creation and existence. I want full and complete accounting. That's fine. I'll read it.
I go home and speak to my best friend about this incredible information that you brought to us tonight.
Your best friend lives in your home?
Quite a bit of the
That's
time,
sweet.
actually.
He comes over for breakfast, stole my key. I have a friend, no, I am a friend like that. Go on.
What would you have me tell him that would convince someone who is still asleep about this magnificent deception?
I wouldn't. I don't take that obligation at all. When he wants to sleep, let him sleep.
There you go.
What I would suggest is you find your own path, show him the security, say, look at my check, go back to sleep. Watch him wake up pretty quick.
What can you do after 3 days? Because I got 3 tickets. I didn't know about the 3-day rule.
You can only operate on the information that you have. The presumption after the 3 days is that you agreed to it. Serve them notice. Again, people ask me, what do I do for this situation? What do I do for this? I tell them it's always the same thing. You have to have an understanding. You have to have an intent. You have to have a right. You have to express your understanding. You have to express your intent. You have to claim your right. Whatever your understanding is, I can't tell you because it's your understanding. So it's up to you to do that, but that's the process. Get up, get dressed, and walk, pretty much. Tell them no.
And if you don't get dressed, you'll get arrested.
I can still say no?
You can always say no. And dude, it's section 15 of the criminal code. They're a de facto government.
Okay.
Please provide evidence that I don't have the right to disobey you merely because you're de facto.
I want to add something to that. I've noticed from a lot of people's, you know, you get information and stories and stuff, and the most compelling ones is about people who physically walk into the court with their birth certificate in hand, and there's these amazing things that always seem to happen at the same time they do that.
Because they don't want you breaking that trust or closing the trust and getting your security. Because then suddenly they are dealing with someone who's worth 10 million bucks.
So it's a good idea to do that, eh? Bring it physically in.
I think it's a good idea to use that as a receipt and redeem it immediately, get your shares, and protect this country from the Nazi tide.
I will. Thank you.
And it's not just me. I hope I'm not a paranoid guy seeing this happening in the States, and you're all looking at me going, oh, I know you, they're land of roses and honey down there.
Oh, something major's going.
You guys see it too, don't you?
Yes.
Dude, we better stand on that, because I'll tell you, by the end of the year, by 2010, when the Olympics come to Vancouver, that is going to be already secured and in place and perfected unless we act now. And I say we got until the end of this year to really gum up their gears. And you can make your demand. Dudes, you could go away from here, and 3-4 days from now, you could have a notice of understanding and intent, a claim of right, and a demand for those securities. And you can go to any lawyer. Go to a lawyer and say, listen, there's a company. Don't tell them the name of the company. Don't tell them who's holding your stock in trust. Just say, hi, there's someone holding my stock in trust in the company I own, and I want it. And they don't want to give it to me. Can you get it for me? Yes, I can. Here you go. Here's the information. Go get it, mister. It will be the best money you ever spend on a lawyer, and they will be bound by it. And if they fail to do it, you got them right by their rat sack balls, man. Pardon my language, ladies. You're laughing now, aren't you? You're on the shade because you're laughing at rat sack balls.